In this video, I'm gonna show you how to take better minimalistic photos. Minimalistic, everything is just getting very popular right now and has been getting very popular over the past few years, and I love it because it gives the photographer an opportunity to really focus in on one specific thing that the photographer finds interesting, intriguing, or something that makes them feel a certain way, and I love that. When done right, you can stare at the photo for hours without getting bored because it's just so freaking pleasing to look at, and I think that's what art is all about. So I've been trying to inject this minimalism into my photography a lot lately, and along the way I've gathered some tips that I use pretty much every single time to achieve the look. So just to make it a little more fun, we're also gonna go outside and shoot so that I can show you how I use the different tips and tricks in practice. So let's go! So the first tip is negative space. I think the number one thing you'll notice in minimalist photography, generally speaking, is the use of negative space. The best thing about negative space, in my opinion, is that it really allows the eyes to rest and kind of move slowly through the frame instead of just like bam, 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 like a lot going on, you know? So it's really just like relaxing to look at, really, and it's kind of obvious what the subject in the photo is as well, so it's just very easy to look at. So to do that, I went to the beach, a big space with the possibility to take very wide open photos with very little distractions. Now, when placing the subject, you want to think in rule of thirds. If you don't know the rule of thirds, here it is, and you kind of want to place your subjects where the lines cross each other to make it relaxing and pleasing to look at. Or don't. You also can break this rule and it looks very cool when people break it, but just know that you'll get a slightly different look. It won't be that pleasing aesthetic look that you might be looking for. And also remember that in order to break rules, you still need to know them. So if you don't know the rule of thirds and haven't really used it yet, I would recommend that you go out and try that first, and then once you feel comfortable with using it, it's time to break it. Secondly, it's very important that the lighting is flat, because we really want the photo to look very simple. So if your photo has very harsh contrast, it will really distract from the simplicity in the photo. So you don't want to be shooting in very harsh sunlight, because it will oftentimes add a lot more contrast to your photo, which is a little bit harder to remove in post-production. So that's actually why we went out to shoot just before the sun went down, so we still had light to work with, but the sun wasn't up and very like harsh. And you also need to keep this in mind when editing. As you can see here, if I pull up the contrast a lot, it will just not look as minimalistic. So if you take the contrast down quite a lot, actually, it will just be a lot more soft and clean and simple and minimalistic. The third tip is to think in shapes and lines. You really want to guide the viewer's eyes through the frame. That's two very hard words to say. Through the frame. Try saying it fast 5 times in a row. Through the frame, through the frame, through the frame, through the frame, through the frame. No, you can't. Okay, let's move on. But yeah, you need to create shapes and lines to guide the viewer's eyes through the frame. And you can make up the lines from literally anything. It could be buildings, a horizon like I did in this photo. A quick tip for that is to take your photo from a lower angle so that you'll only get the sky and then whatever is right in front of your camera, so you won't get a lot of background detail, because we don't want that. We want it to be minimalistic. You can also use the waterline or the shore, what is it called? I don't know, as I did in this photo. And I think you can really clearly see how it works in this photo. It really guides the eye through the frame. And from both sides of the frame, it really guides the eyes towards the subject, and that is very powerful. You could also use a repetitive pattern as lines, but just make sure that the pattern isn't too distracted. But yeah, it could work, and I think this is really the one to get creative with. My favorite one! Colors. So if you have 7 different colors in your photo, it's not gonna look minimalistic no matter how much negative space or whatever you've used. There's just a lot going on if you use that many different colors, and some people probably can pull it off. I'm not here to destroy that, but just very generally speaking, having a lot of colors will not look very minimalistic. I would say stick to 2, maximum 3 colors in your photo. This is a little bit harder to do, but just remember that you don't have to go out and find a location and outfit and everything with only like 2 or 3 colors. You can always adjust it in Photoshop later. I do this every time, almost every time, because I'm just lazy, you know. I don't want to go out and find a red dress if I need to use a red dress and I've got a blue dress. Then it's expensive and it takes more time, and it's really quick and easy to just change a blue color to a red color in Photoshop later, just like I did with this photo. I could just have kept it as it is, but the colors were actually very similar and very like desaturated, and almost too little was going on. And then I didn't like that the sand was kind of like with a lot of contrast, because there was a lot of seaweed and stuff in the sand, so it looked like there was a lot going on. So I just thought that changing the color to 1 would make it actually a little bit more simple, and then it would just make it stand out as well. And I did the same for this photo, which I actually think looked even better with the blue color. Keeping everything very desaturated, but then having 1 color that really pops out from the frame. But yeah, it is a little bit harder to do, and that is probably why a lot of minimalistic photos are black and white. I don't know, but I just personally don't like black and white. I like having colors, so I try to stick to the rule of either having 2, maximum 3 colors, or having everything very, not like black and white, but just a little bit desaturated, and then having 1 color that really pops. I think that's a good rule to keep in mind. Speaking of editing, the last tip is to clean up your photo in your editing program. Everything, and I truly mean everything that doesn't add to the photo, needs to go, because we want it to be as simple as possible. And if you just have a lot of different things that doesn't really matter to the photo, it just won't look as minimalistic. So for this photo, I'm first removing all the birds that's in the water in the background, because I don't really think they add anything to the photo. So in this one, I actually thought there was too much going on in the background with the kind of strand of land going out in the water and the trees in the background. So I actually removed all the trees to just make it look like an infinite sea horizon. And I'm also removing the birds here. These small steps just make the photo look very clean, so don't miss it, it's important. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you'll be able to use some of the tips to achieve the look that you're going for. If it was helpful, please just do me a favor and give the video a like and comment something down below. Comment if you love minimalism, or you just watched this video because you're a little bit annoyed by how popular minimalism has gotten. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell button to be notified every time I post a new video. I'm trying to post twice a week, so if you don't, you'll miss out on some very nice content. So yeah, do that. And until next time, bye.